Hey everybody, Greg here. It's a really quiet day for the most part. There's a few things moving, um, but as far as the broader markets go, it's just not happening. I think everybody is kind of waiting here after the move last week. We're looking at the cues here, which are consolidating, and I think they have the greatest potential to kick it into the upside, and we just don't have a setup yet. I mean, if it takes out that high from last week, we'll have to go for it. But we've got a little correction bar, on that bar there that touched that high. And so you can see the little tiny narrow range day, little tiny body, little narrow range. You can see the 5 minute chart is just opposing pivots back and forth, back and forth. But you see how the buyers came off of the lows there, and it came off kind of aggressively. If you watch the chart of the week where it covered Zoom, and every pattern that we utilize is, of course, a recurring pattern. And so, what is the criteria of patterns that typically get bought on a pullback or consolidate and go higher? Well, most times they're preceded by a momentum move, a power move. And so here was a power move off of the low, and it's just consolidating back and forth in an erratic manner. You got overlapping bars and opposing pivots. So now here was the next smaller move, of course, but they bought the low. So there's an anticipation that it's going to go higher. I suspect it's not going to happen today, but look, you just never know. Anyway, it's consolidating near resistance so far. As I wouldn't call it a red bar ignored yet. It's just but somewhat bullish price action as it consolidates there. You can see the 65-minute chart. It's in an uptrend. It's at this resistance area. Um, it's just consolidating. So just we're in a wait and see mode here. Yeah, S&Ps, same thing. Momentum move, chop, consolidation at resistance, not doing anything. Diamonds, just flip flopping back and forth, back and forth. So, what's the part of the takeaway here? The lesson for the always in the future is to recognize what is. Don't fight it. Things look like they're going to go higher. They're not happening in the moment. There's always that potential for some kind of wiggle that whipsaw you out. Trade a little smaller with the setups. We just don't have any setups yet as far as the broader markets go. That's the truth. KRE is pulling back after a momentum move. It's being sold today. So with KRE under some pressure, and XLF isn't doing much of anything either. Pretty tough to get the S&Ps moving, unless, well, I'm going to sort this. Let's see here. Energy was at the top of the list earlier in the day. Now it's consumer discretionary, which is another positive. Can go higher, but a little narrow range day there. Yeah, energy's backed off. It was at the top of the list. Now we got a topping tail bar. So here's a momentum move. Excuse me. Up at resistance. So this kind of price action is pretty typical. Now, what it does here in the coming days, if it can hold up here, well, then it might be able to push through that resistance. But the first time it gets up there, rarely can it push through the first time. Now we can, then look at stocks within that sector. Let me just slide this over a little bit. You can't see it, but I should be able to. Hold on. Okay. So the best performer at the moment is EQT. But just because it's the best performer doesn't mean we want to do anything. It's up against the 200 and the resistance. It's moved up a bit. So we're going to find a lot of things that have come off of the low. Well, this one is strong. That just aren't ready to do anything with, like XOM and so on. So that broke out to a new high. That could go on the list for something that might lead the way higher since it is showing relative strength. Zoom looks great. It stalled. It actually cleared that resistance a little bit. It was stalled there a little bit, but this is looking amazing. I explained in the chart of the week why there was the interest in this. If you didn't watch the video, go ahead and watch it. But this certainly looks like it's going to go higher. And in a market that's not doing anything, institutions are buying this, which suggests it's going to go higher. Just looking at it else. GoDaddy, it stalled. That was a good mover. Another oil stock, Halliburton. Lyft is stalled. It's consolidating here. It probably can go higher. Tesla is doing great. It's coming up to some resistance. It should be able to go higher. Nice consolidation. So, yeah, be patient. Things are going to set up. Keep the powder dry. And I think this market will go higher until proven otherwise. SMHs are just doing nothing here. So, as always, if you have any questions, email us, Dan and Greg at Master Trader.